to boundariesforeffectiveministry.org and to our presentation on the 501c3 application trap and how the trap was set, who set it, and how it gets sprung. 501c3 refers to a section and two subparagraphs of Title 26 of the U.S. Code, and it's called the Internal Revenue Code. 501c3 is the section on tax-exempt organizations such as sporting clubs, lobbying groups, and churches. All federal laws are organized into 50 titles according to subject matter. Some titles are published in the Federal Register and they may apply to the population at large, but some are not published and are therefore private laws or policies only for officials of the federal government. Title 26, the Internal Revenue Code, is not published and is policy for federal officials and not the public at large, unless members of the public apply for and consent to the jurisdiction of the IRS. The 501c3 trap is sprung when churches consent to be censored through the 501c3 application for a tax exemption they never needed in the first place. There is a widespread belief that the Constitution requires separation of church and state, but that term, separation of church and state, appears nowhere in the Constitution. The First Amendment prohibits the government from interfering in the practice of religion, but nowhere are the churches prohibited from interfering in the practices of government. Just as the serpent slithered into the Garden of Eden and censored God's truth that had been spoken to Eve, Lyndon Johnson took a Senate seat in 1948 in an election that many thought was bogus, and the ministers and other groups spoke out against him. It was he who got Congress to discriminate against and censor churches while leaving other members of the 501c3 club, such as lobbyists, uncensored. Today, it is not unusual for a 501c3 church not only to not criticize government politicians, but to actually advocate even evil actions by government as the will of God, something akin to the Stockholm Syndrome.
My friends, you are free. You are free to respect and appreciate the authority of the government that God gives to you. Honor the king. Honor the king. Do it anyway, whether the king deserves it or not. Even bad governments do God's work by keeping even a semblance of order in the streets.
The moral voice of the churches was silenced for a tax break they never needed. And yet on Judgment Day, many of those same churches will seek entrance into the kingdom of heaven, saying, "Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name? Did we not do mighty deeds in your name?" And the Lord says, "I will declare to them solemnly, depart from me, you evildoers, I never knew you." The promise of such a severe penalty may cause you to reconsider becoming or remaining a 501c3 church.